It's a good Monday morning. Good morning. I declare this congregation of the University of the Western Cape duly constituted.
The national anthem will now be led by UWC Creative Arts Choir. Please be seated. The university respects and recognizes all faiths, and in an effort to respect the major faiths observed by the UWC community, we have arranged for a spiritual leader from each of these to lead us in prayer on a rotational basis. This morning, we will be led in prayer by Professor Ibrahim Arnold.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Alhamdulillah al-Qa'il. All praise be to Allah who said, يؤتي الحكمة من يشاء ومن يؤتى الحكمة فقد أوتي خيرا كثيرا وما يذكر إلا أولو الألباب. He, Allah, gives wisdom unto whom He wills, and he unto whom wisdom is given, he has truly received abundant good. But no one is reminded of this favor except the possessors of deep understanding. Allah ma'allimna al-hikmah. Oh Allah, teach us wisdom. وَأُوصَانَا بِالْإِخْلَاصِ فِي السِّرِّ وَالْعَلَانِيَةِ. And entrust us with sincerity in secret and publicly. وَالْعَدْلِ فِي الرِّضَى وَالْغَضَبِ. And justice in a state of contentment and anger. وَالْقَصْدِ فِي الْفَقْرِ وَالْغِنَى. And moderation in poverty and affluence. وَأَن نَعْفُوَ عَمَّنْ ظَلَمَنَا. And pardon those who wronged us. وَأَن نُعْطِيَ مَنْ حَرَمَنَا. And to give to those who deprived us. وَنُصِلَ مَنْ قَطَعَنَا. And connect with those who cut us off. وَأَن يَكُونَ صَمْتُنَا فِكْرًا. And that our silence be a contemplation. وَنُطْقَنَا ذِكْرًا. And that our utterance be a glorification of you. وَنَظَرُنَا عِبَرًا. And that our observation be a lesson. Ameen.
I now call upon Simtandile Diali, President of the Student Representative Council, to address you.
Chancellor of the University in absentia, the Vice-Chancellor, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Registrar, Deputy Registrar, Executive Management, Deans of Faculties, PhD candidates, parents, and most notably, the students who are graduating today, I greet you. Igama lam ndingu Azania Wakatyali, and I am the current SRC President for the term of 2018 and 2019. Mine today, it is very simple. It is to congratulate and to also share some few thoughts to the students that are graduating today. However, many of you, I just want to highlight this, have survived many traumatizing experiences at the university. Some of you did not even have funding to progress to another level. Some of your university mates had to drop out of university, not necessarily because they were stupid, but necessarily because of the issues that they were facing, be it financial and other issues. Many of you are aware that your degrees came with a struggle and sleepless nights, where many of you had to sleep in the library, the study hall, the student center, and all other conducive spaces to study at the university. Today marks yet another milestone at the history of the university. It makes another milestone at the history of academic at this institution. Mine is to remind you of what your education means to you, what it means to our continent and our country. It therefore means that you have a responsibility to strive to be the embodiment and the aspirations of our people. You must then be those that carry on their torch and be the torchbearers of their dreams. For we have been taught by the African fiber, to many of you known as the spirit of Ubuntu, but to many philosophers known as the spirit of Pan-Africanists. What I want to remind today is that the spirit of Ubuntu teaches us that it takes a village to raise a child, and it takes a village to educate a child. Today, University of the Western Cape has been that village that has educated many of you, irrespective of the challenges that he had faced in the institution. James Baldwin, one of my favorite scholars, teaches us that the paradox of education is precisely this. As one becomes educated, one becomes to examine the spaces that one is being educated in. This then speaks directly to those who took upon themselves to question the education system of the country. To many of you, you know that history. Prof. Torres reminds us that in this country, desegregation does not entail decolonization. It does not even mean that we have freedom. In you then, taking UWC to the map, I then pray to God, I pray to Africa, and I pray to humanity that you don't become one of the graduates that are going to be standing in the robots with their placards seeking employment. But I pray therefore that you are the graduates that are going to contribute to the development of this continent, for we've been taught that poor people can and be able to develop themselves. And today, I also want to make this point very clear. Expensive as education is, but this country has taught us that education alone does not guarantee one a job. And this too is founded on racist education and Eurocentric education that has been imposed on us as students. Is to go wherever then you come from. Think of Africa again, think of humanity, and above all, think of God. And of course, today, I would like to challenge the professors and the DVC to include entrepreneurial skills, of which I know that the university is trying to do that by including extracurricular activities into a transcript. Therefore, as a challenge to many students, we challenge you not to be outside students, but then to be students that are fully active and students that are involved in everything that transpires within this university. Because of the history the university has. It is known as the University of the Left historically. It is also known as the home of the intellectuals. We say therefore, change can only be seen and be valued once the continent we seek and we want to change changes. Can only be seen once all the legacies of colonialism have been dismantled that are still evident in our education system and all the societal ills that we face in the country. And indeed, as students today, I'm very proud to say that as you are graduating today, bear in mind that we are still graduating on Women's Month. A month, therefore, that should be a constant reminder to each and every one of us that is seated here today that women are still at the receiving end, that women are still abused, that women are still treated as nobodies in this world, and that women are still systematically excluded by all means necessary and by all means you can think of. To close off, Africans, as I was highlighting on the history of the university, its milestone and what the university has been able to achieve, I want to remind the South that the constitution of this country, the interim and the current constitution of South Africa were drafted at the youth university by intellectuals, by alma maters who have long gone and joined the working force. I say this to you today, that as you understand, as you know the history of your institution, I therefore challenge you again that whatever ills and whatever errors you might find at the university, it is only you and you alone that therefore can be able to change and dismantle all of those things that have been ill and that we do not want in the system. But again, to close off, I want to remind you of the words of Robert Sobukwe, one of our leaders, who has taught us that as a leader, you need to subjugate yourself to the level of our people. So this, I say, I know that there are many activists that are graduating here today. Osman Mkele Ndamane, whom a degree took him the longest of time to finish because of course his Ben was suspended at the university because of his activities. But today we salute you, we say we thank you and we appreciate the role that you've played within the struggle of the university, the role you've contributed to the lives of the students. And many of you parents, you saw outside that many workers and many women were celebrating with students this day. Those are the mothers that have been shielding us and protecting us for as long as we've been at this university. Today, I salute all women that are seated here. I salute all graduates, and above all, I congratulate all PhD. I say this, take your education and contribute to whatever dungeon you come from, contribute to whatever hole you come from, because I know this and I know this alone. Julius Nyerere, and leader in the African continent, thought that poor people can develop themselves. Today, take your education, go develop your people, go develop the continent, because education to us, as we have been taught, means the saviors to the African continent and the saviors to our people. With that said, salute graduates.
Ushers. Deputy Vice-Chancellors, Registrars, Deans of Faculties, the President of the Student Representative Council, our graduates, parents, special guests, UWC colleagues, and all guests here, good morning. Graduates, this is one of my favorite times of the academic year. As I look across the wall, I understand all over again the power of education. How can I not, when I see the pride, the joy and the excitement on your faces, on a journey that has ended in success? Congratulations this morning to all of you. And congratulations to your parents, your loved ones, whose faces carry the same pride and joy as yours. Parents, guardians, significant others and loved ones, I salute you this morning, and I congratulate you on the excellent way in which you have discharged your responsibilities to your children, and to your charges. Over the two ceremonies today, we will be awarding 469 degrees and diplomas, 45 PhDs, 45 doctorates, 95 masters, 48 honors degrees, and one of those that will be receiving their degree is my very own daughter, Tammy Lee. So if we add the more than 3,500 degrees that we awarded during our April ceremony, it means that this university has graduated in 2019 a record number of 4,000 students. Graduates, I want to take this moment to share a few ideas with you about life's choices and the path that you will be taking as you leave this main hall. Firstly, as we come to the end of Women's Month, I'd like to take this opportunity to pay tribute to the millions of women in our society. Our mothers, our sisters, our grandmothers, our aunts. Let us be reminded this morning that respecting the place of women in society as equal citizens does not belong to a day or even a month. Indeed, it is our duty to take the prescripts of our Constitution that equality based on gender is an absolute right that cannot be suspended or done away with. The statistics on gender violence are unacceptably high, and it is a sad and frightening indictment on the caliber of men we have in our society. There is, I'm afraid, no other way of stating this. To our graduates, I'd like to talk to you about where we find ourselves as citizens of this beloved country of ours. No one can dispute that we are in serious trouble as a country. When I listen to the evidence given at the Zondo Commission, then I realize that South Africa has been sold to the highest bidder. The world seems to be in a state of flux, and the global economy is in turmoil. Here in South Africa, things look even bleaker because we just don't seem to be able to get going. Unemployment is sitting at a record 29%. This is the highest jobless rate since 2003. We now have 6.5 million South Africans that are unemployed. You listen to the billions that are being sunk into our state-owned public enterprises, and you have to wonder, where will all of this end? It is into this cynical, deeply troubled, and tired world that you as graduates will be stepping into. And I'm urging you today to do more than what my generation had done. We thought that the end of apartheid signaled the end of doing, of being present, and of being engaged. With the arrival of democracy, we idealistically believed that justice, integrity, and moral purpose would be the order of the day. We look to our icons like Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Ahmed Kathrada, and Govan Mbeki, and we all believed that the noble aims of the apartheid struggle would automatically be infused into the new democratic order. How wrong we were. Instead, As each successive year since 1994 came and went, the slide into negative patterns of behavior, wastefulness, arrogance, greed, selfishness emerged. We went from being the rainbow nation to riding the gravy train in a blink of an eye. And we, the citizens of South Africa, allowed this decay of our beautiful country. So today, graduates, I want to urge you to be better than us. Believe that each generation owes a debt to the ones who will follow, and fight back to secure the soul of South Africa. Be active and present citizens who will not turn a blind eye to our societal ills, be it gender-based violence or corruptions. Stand up. This will require much of you, but I'm confident that as a graduate of UWC, you have the perseverance and the resilience to give it your best. It means, though, that as you leave here, you have to accept that there is more to your future than the individual pursuit of ambition and wealth. It means holding on to moral integrity, compassion, and a commitment to justice. I saw a glimpse of this in our students last week, and I was touched and inspired by the young people of UWC. Last week, I popped in to visit with our student volunteers who had signed up to do the annual phone-a-thon. These students, there were 60 of them, spend their evenings calling alumni to ask for financial contributions that will assist other financially needy students. I listened to these admirable young people, and I thought to myself that our country would be a much better place if we all acted like these volunteers. Some of these students were in the very same position as the ones they were trying to help. One of the young women I spoke to, a third-year law student, is waiting for a NSFAS appeal to be answered. For the past 2 years, family members had assisted her with her studies as both her parents are unemployed. This student, who wants to become either an entertainment or intellectual property lawyer, is a firm believer in helping others. Incidentally, by last Tuesday, under the guidance of our alumni manager, these students had raised 1 million rand for needy students. I didn't have the opportunity to engage with all of those volunteers, but I can today tell you who these volunteers are. They give of their time and their energy and talents to others, expecting nothing in return. I know that because they are volunteers. They realize the importance of human kindness and compassion, and let these values be their guiding light. I know that of them because they are volunteers. They value and they know that they have the freedom to choose, and they choose to exercise that freedom in service of others. I know that of them because they are volunteers. And so I take a lesson from these inspiring students, and it's that we can make a difference to the world and the society we live in. I urge you, as you leave this university, to consider the possibility that you too can make a difference. You entered this hall, graduates, as students of UWC, and you will leave this hall as alumni of this fine institution. We are very proud of your achievements, and we know that you will be great ambassadors of UWC. Congratulations. An item in song will now be rendered by the Creative Arts Choir.
Memories I won't forget, and we'll share more, my friend. We haven't started yet. Something happens when we together.
Amigos para siempre, mis amores.
UWC's very own creative arts choir, and now you see the reason why they've won so many awards. Let's give them another round of applause. This is it. This is your moment. Want to take out your mirrors or your phones, put some color on. This is your opportunity. By authority vested in me, I shall now admit the candidates who are presented to me and the candidates who were not able to attend the ceremony to degrees, diplomas, and certificates in the university.
Vice-Chancellor, the candidate winner, Dominic Chawinga, will now be introduced to you by the Supervisor, Professor Sandy Zen.
The title of this thesis is Research Data Management in Public Universities in Malawi. Considering that the research community regards research data as the cornerstone for both current and future landmark science breakthroughs, the thesis investigates how research data is created, preserved, shared, and reused at 2 Malawian public universities with the aim to popularize and to promote the concept of research data management, which until this study was poorly understood in the country. Research data is unsatisfactorily managed due to a lack of data management infrastructure and skills. To this end, the thesis makes a significant contribution to the growing body of research by developing a contextual framework for research data management in Malawi, which can be applied in similar countries. And part of this thesis has already been published in the prestigious Library and Information Science Research Journal.
Vice-Chancellor, I request to confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy on winner Dominic Chawinga. Vice-Chancellor, the candidate Average Chugwenya will now be introduced to you by his supervisor, Prof. Dante Vera.
Thank you. The title of Average Chugwenya's thesis is Informality and Right to the City, Contestations for Safe and Livable Spaces in Masvingo City, Zimbabwe. The study draws on Lefebvre's theory of right to the city to investigate how in the formal sector operators in the city of Masvingo have managed to access urban space within an institutional framework that is largely unsupportive of informality. A mixed method approach involving questionnaire and in-depth